Wait, before you move on, what if this is the moment your nervous system has been waiting for? The moment your soul takes the wheel again. You weren't born just to pay bills, answer emails, and crash into bed with a tired body and a numbed heart, but somehow that became the norm. And now your days feel like copy-paste loops. Everything's working, but nothing's alive. You scroll. You nod. You deliver. You say, "I'm fine," even when your chest feels heavy and your thoughts are spinning. You keep going and going. But the truth is, you're surviving, not living. There's no shame in that. You did what you needed to do to stay afloat. But now, something deeper is waking up. A quiet resistance inside you, a voice that whispers, there has to be more than this. And that voice, it's not anxiety, it's not a crisis. It's a call to remember. Your brain isn't broken. Your dreams weren't too much. And you haven't missed your moment. You're just untuned, disconnected from your creative rhythm. But here's the truth. Your brain is neuroplastic. That means it can change. It can relearn joy. It can unlearn fear. It can reconnect with meaning, but only if you pause long enough to listen. So here's a question most people are too afraid to ask. If you could create a life from scratch today, what would stay? And what would go? Hold that question close. Let it haunt you a little. Because the answers are already inside you, beneath the noise, the numbness, and the script you never wrote. The body knows when a story is no longer yours. That's why your chest tightens. That's why you can't sleep deeply. That's why you feel so much and yet so little. But the good news? You can rewrite the script. You don't have to burn your life to the ground. You just have to return to your center, to your truth, to your creative self. And that starts right now. If you're still here, it means something inside you is listening, even if quietly. So let's go deeper. Because the truth is, we weren't trained to live in alignment. We were trained to survive systems, to adapt, to follow instructions, to silence our intuition in favor of structure, to numb emotion in the name of logic, to dismiss longing and call it weakness. And now, as adults, we walk around with bodies that carry tension we can't name, and a heart that knows we've strayed too far. You see, this isn't about giving up everything and starting over. This is about starting from the inside out. This is about shifting the energy behind your actions, from pressure to presence, from performance to expression. Because maybe the reason you're exhausted isn't because you're weak. It's because you've been swimming against your own current. You've been trying to win at a game you never wanted to play. Trying to hit goals that were never yours. Living a reality that looks successful on the outside, but feels hollow when you're alone with your thoughts. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You can't create a fulfilling life from a place of self-abandonment. If the version of success you're chasing costs your peace, if the lifestyle you're trying to maintain drains your joy, if the way you show up in the world doesn't feel like you anymore, then it's not alignment. It's disconnection with a fancy name. But here's what changes everything. You can interrupt the cycle. You can pause the loop. You can ask, what am I actually craving right now? Who am I trying to become, and why? Is the life I'm building still mine, or just inherited programming? Those questions, they aren't soft. They're revolutionary because the moment you begin to ask them, you stop being a passive passenger in your life and start becoming a conscious creator. And this doesn't mean you'll never feel lost again. It means that even in the confusion, you're grounded in truth. It means that even in the chaos, there's clarity behind your steps. And what happens when you live from this place? You stop needing permission to rest. You stop explaining your dreams. You stop chasing love, recognition, or meaning in places that never offered it in the first place. You stop performing. And in that stillness, in that quiet, honest space where your nervous system finally exhales, you start to hear something else, your real voice, your real rhythm, your real self, and that changes everything. But wait, don't go yet, because in the next moment, I'm going to give you the key to rewire your reality, not through discipline or pressure, but through something your brain has always craved: safety. Let's go deeper, because the problem was never your potential. It was the environment your nervous system was trying to survive in. Your brain isn't failing you. It's not broken. It's just doing exactly what it was trained to do: keep you safe. And here's the truth most people never learned. A brain stuck in survival mode can't create beauty, can't dream clearly, can't connect fully, can't feel peace consistently. Because when your brain believes it's in danger, whether from real threats or emotional exhaustion, it shuts down your prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for logic, creativity, long-term planning, and activates your amygdala, the fear center. That's why, even when nothing is wrong, you feel restless. Your chest feels tight. You can't focus. You get irritated by small things. You feel off. And it's not because you're dramatic. It's because your inner system is overloaded. What you need isn't another strategy. It's regulation. Because only a regulated nervous system can sustain joy. And here's the part no one talks about. Most of your emotional fatigue comes from constantly pretending you're fine, from silencing your body's alarms, from smiling when your nervous system is actually begging for a break. But the beautiful thing is, you don't have to escape your life to heal. You don't need to move to the mountains or quit your job tomorrow. You just need to start sending your body new signals, tiny reminders that you're not in danger anymore. You're allowed to slow down. You're safe to be real. And that's where neuroplasticity comes in. Your brain is plastic, flexible, malleable. It's constantly rewiring itself based on what you repeatedly feel. So if you only ever repeat pressure, noise, urgency, your brain adapts to survive chaos. But if you begin to repeat calm, even in small doses, your brain starts to adapt to peace. That's the key. Peace isn't a destination, it's a neural pathway you can strengthen. Exercicio pratico, agra. Let's do something right now. Something simple but powerful. Step 1. Place your hand on your chest. Notice the rhythm of your breathing. Feel your presence. This is you, alive, aware, here. Step 2. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 2. Exhale slowly for 6. Repeat 3 times. Step 3. While exhaling, say out loud or silently, I am not behind. I am safe to begin again. My body can relax now. I don't have to prove anything to anyone. Notice the shift. Notice how your chest opens, how your shoulders soften. That's not imaginary. That's your vagus nerve being activated, the calming part of your nervous system. Each time you do this, you teach your brain it's safe to create, it's safe to feel, it's safe to be me. This isn't fluff, it's neuroscience. And it's sacred because your body has carried the weight of pretending for too long. And now it's your turn to feel the truth. You don't need to perform for love anymore. You don't need to hide behind perfection anymore. You don't need to fix yourself. Just reconnect. And maybe you're wondering, but how can I create anything when my life still feels messy? Here's the secret. Creation doesn't require clarity. It requires presence. You can be scared and still show up. You can be tired and still move gently toward your truth. You can be unsure and still begin, because creating a new life isn't about burning everything down. It's about turning the light back on, inside out, so when you start doing things from a place of presence, something shifts. You no longer wake up dreading the day. You stop chasing worth. You stop trying to outrun yourself, and you begin softly to create, not to impress, not to prove, but to express what's been locked inside for far too long. That version of you, the one who feels safe in their own body, the one who doesn't need to hustle for belonging, that version of you already exists. She's not lost. He's not broken. They're just buried under survival mode. And now, it's time to bring them back, but don't leave yet. Because in the next block, I'll guide you to the final turning point where truth becomes movement and insight becomes freedom. If you've made it this far, it's not by accident. It's because a part of you is ready to stop surviving and start remembering. Remembering what? That you were never here to play small, that your softness is not weakness, that you were born to create, not just content, not just work, but a life that reflects your soul. You were born to feel, to rest, to speak your truth even if your voice shakes, to walk slowly even if the world keeps rushing, and above all, you were born to live from presence, not performance. So if you're still trying to find clarity, still asking what's next, let me offer this. Clarity doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from being real. It comes when you stop pretending. When you stop betraying your own signals. When you stop measuring your worth through someone else's mirror. You are enough, not when you achieve more, but when you finally choose yourself. I don't have to perform for peace. I don't have to shrink to feel safe. I am not behind. I am becoming. If this video touched something deep in you, don't let the feeling fade. Breathe with it. Sit with it. And if you feel ready, declare it in the comments below. I choose to create from my truth. Let this be your first step. Not to become someone else, but to return to the one you've always been. Because you're not broken. You're awakening. And from this place, you can build a life that feels like home. And if this message resonated, watch it again tomorrow. Not because you need more motivation, but because sometimes the nervous system needs repetition to believe in safety again. Every time you come back to this, you come back to yourself.